Listen, I need to tell you something that nobody talks about enough. There's this magical number in personal finance, and once you hit it, everything fundamentally changes. That number is $100,000. Now I know what you're thinking. You're probably saying, sure, having money is nice, but what's so special about that specific number? Well, stick with me here, because what I'm about to share will completely transform how you think about building wealth. The truth is, getting your first 100,000 is brutally hard. It's going to take most people years, maybe even a decade or more, of grinding, saving, and sacrificing. But here's the thing that most people don't realize until they get there. After you hit that 100,000 mark, building your next 100,000 becomes exponentially easier. And I'm not just talking a little bit easier. I'm talking dramatically, fundamentally, life-changingly easier. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's legendary business partner, once said that the first 100,000 is incredibly difficult, but you've got to do it. He wasn't exaggerating. This isn't some motivational nonsense. This is mathematics. This is the raw power of compound interest, finally reaching critical mass in your life. Let me break down exactly why this happens. When you have $10,000 invested and it grows by 10% in a year, you've made $1,000. That's nice. You could take your family out to a decent dinner. But when you have $100,000 and it grows by that same 10%, you've just made $10,000. That's real money. That's money that starts to feel significant. That's money that could cover several months of expenses for many people. And you didn't have to work for it. Your money worked for you while you were sleeping, while you were at your job, while you were living your life. But it goes even deeper than that. See, at $100,000, compound interest stops being this abstract concept that finance people talk about and becomes this tangible force that you can actually feel working in your life. Every single day, your money is generating more money, not just pennies, real substantial amounts that actually move the needle. Let me give you the math on this. If you're starting from zero and saving $500 a month with a 7% annual return, which is conservative for long-term stock market investing, it's going to take you about 12 years to hit that first 100,000. 12 years of discipline, of saying no to things you want, of staying focused while everyone around you is spending money they don't have on things they don't need. But here's where it gets interesting. Once you've got that 100,000 and you keep adding that same $500 per month, your next 100,000 only takes about 7 years. You just cut 5 years off the timeline. And the 100,000 after that? Less than 5 years. The fourth 100,000 takes about 4 years. Do you see what's happening here? The snowball isn't just rolling anymore. It's becoming an avalanche. This is why wealthy people seem to get wealthier faster and faster. It's not some conspiracy. It's not that the system is necessarily rigged, although there are certainly advantages that come with wealth. It's that they've crossed the threshold where their money is doing serious work for them. They've escaped the gravitational pull of being broke. Think about it like a rocket ship leaving Earth's atmosphere. Most of the fuel, most of the energy, most of the effort goes into just getting off the ground and breaking through the atmosphere. But once you're in space, once you've broken free from that gravitational pull, suddenly you can coast. You can go faster with less effort. That first 100,000 is your escape velocity from financial struggle. Now, I want to talk about the psychological shift that happens at this level, because it's just as important as the mathematical reality. When you have $100,000 saved and invested, something changes in your brain. You stop thinking like someone who's broke. You stop making decisions based on scarcity and fear. You walk into your job differently. You're not desperate anymore. You're not one car repair or one medical bill away from disaster. You have options. And when you have options, you have power. You can negotiate better. You can take calculated risks. You can say no to things that don't serve you. This confidence alone can lead to better career opportunities, better business decisions, and ultimately more wealth creation. There's also this interesting phenomenon that happens with spending habits. People who've never had significant savings often think that once they have money, they'll want to spend it. But the opposite usually happens. Once you see that 100,000 number in your account, Once you feel the security it provides, once you experience the joy of watching it grow, you actually become more protective of it. You start seeing purchases differently. That $5 coffee isn't just $5 anymore. It's $5 that could have grown to $50 over the next decade. You naturally start optimizing your spending without feeling deprived, because you've tasted something better than short-term consumption. You've tasted freedom. Let me address something important here. I'm not saying that everyone needs to be obsessed with money or that wealth is the only thing that matters in life. But here's what I am saying. Financial stress is one of the leading causes of anxiety, depression, and relationship problems. Money doesn't buy happiness, but financial security buys you options, peace of mind, and the ability to focus on what actually does make you happy instead of constantly worrying about bills. So how do you actually get to this magical 100,000? Because that's the real question, isn't it? Knowing it's important is one thing. Actually doing it is another. First, you need to understand that this is a marathon, not a sprint. If you're starting from zero, you need to mentally prepare yourself for the long haul. This might take 10 years. It might take 15. But here's the thing, that time is going to pass anyway. You can either get to 10 years from now with $100,000 in the bank, or you can get there with nothing but regrets about all the lattes you bought and cars you financed. The foundation is simple, even if it's not easy. You need to spend less than you earn and invest the difference. I know that sounds obvious, but most people never do it. They let lifestyle inflation eat up every raise, every bonus, every bit of extra income that comes their way. You need to become obsessed with your savings rate. Not your absolute dollar amount saved each month, but the percentage of your income that you're putting away. If you're saving 5%, push to 10. If you're at 10, push to 15. If you can get to 20% or more, you're going to build wealth at a speed that will shock you. Cut the big expenses. Everyone talks about skipping coffee and canceling streaming services. And sure, those things add up. But you know what really moves the needle? Housing, transportation, and food. These are the big three that destroy most people's budgets. If you're spending 40% of your income on rent or a mortgage when you could spend 25%, that's the difference between building wealth and staying broke. If you're financing a $40,000 car when a $15,000 reliable used car would work just fine, you're literally choosing to stay poor longer. But cutting expenses is only half the equation. You also need to increase your income, ask for raises, switch jobs every few years for significant pay bumps, start a side business, learn high-income skills. The market rewards people who provide value, so figure out how to provide more value and demand appropriate compensation for it. And here's the crucial part. Every single dollar you free up, every raise you get, every side hustle dollar you make, you invest it. You don't see it as extra spending money. You see it as fuel for your wealth-building rocket ship. Now, let's talk about where to actually put this money, because having it sit in a regular savings account at 0.01% interest isn't going to cut it. You need to invest it in assets that actually grow. For most people, this means low-cost index funds in the stock market. You're buying small pieces of hundreds or thousands of companies, diversifying your risk, and riding the overall growth of the economy. Yes, the market goes up and down. Yes, there will be crashes. Yes, it's scary when your account value drops. But here's what history tells us. Over long periods, the stock market has consistently returned around 7 to 10% annually after inflation. That's what builds wealth. That's what gets you to 100,000 and beyond. The key is to automate everything. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your investment account the day after you get paid. Make it so you never even see the money. If you have to manually transfer money each month, you'll find excuses. You'll convince yourself that this month is different, that you need the money for something else. But if it happens automatically, you adapt your lifestyle around what's left. Time in the market beats timing the market every single time. Don't wait for the right moment to start investing. Don't try to predict crashes or wait for dips. Just start now, invest consistently, and let compound interest do its thing. Here's something else that happens after you cross 100,000. Opportunities start appearing that weren't available before. Real estate investments that require substantial down payments become accessible. Business opportunities that need capital become possible. Your investment knowledge has grown through experience, so you're better equipped to evaluate opportunities and take calculated risks. The distance between $100,000 and $1 million is shorter than the distance between 0 and 100,000, even though it's 10 times the money. That's not an exaggeration. Once you've built the habits, the knowledge, the discipline, and the momentum to reach 6 figures, reaching 7 figures is almost inevitable if you just stay consistent. Think about the freedom that comes with this. Financial independence isn't about being rich enough to buy yachts and sports cars. It's about having enough money working for you that you could survive, maybe even thrive, without having to work a job you hate. It's about being able to take a year off to care for a sick family member without destroying your life financially. It's about being able to pursue passion projects that might not pay well, but fulfill you deeply. The path to 100,000 is hard. I won't lie to you about that. There will be moments when you want to give up. When your friends are taking vacations you can't afford. When you're driving a modest car while coworkers are showing up in luxury vehicles they're drowning in debt to afford. When you're eating dinner at home while social media is full of people at expensive restaurants. But I promise you this, on the other side of that $100,000 mark, you'll look back and realize that every sacrifice was worth it. You'll feel a sense of pride and accomplishment that no material purchase could ever provide. You'll have built something real and lasting. You'll have given yourself options and freedom that most people never experience. So here's my challenge to you. Make the decision right now that you're going to do this. Not someday, not when things are easier. Right now. Calculate what it will take. Run the numbers. Figure out your timeline. And then start. Take the first step today. Open that investment account. Set up that automatic transfer. Cut that one big expense that's holding you back. Because 10 years from now, you'll either be someone who hit 100,000 and changed your entire financial trajectory, or you'll be someone wishing they had started today. The choice is yours, but the math doesn't lie. Everything really does change after $100,000. Now go make it happen.